Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, SRG Universe and the LFF is proud to present you the Super Show. Yes, that's right. I got this morning. This is my unboxing video for it. I'm really excited for this one. I've been waiting for this from Kickstarter. It's one of the ones I've actually been really looking forward to. As you can see, I went for the box which gave you everything. The Kickstarter Pledge for everything from this show and from the last one. So basically I've got 3 boxes, each containing 2 decks, rules and dice. I'll get to them in just a minute. You've got the 2 characters, El Super Hombre and the Mercenator there. You've got the Snake Pit and Gropar the Great and Powerful. And then you've got Rob Graves and Paulie the Pigeon Picone. Also included are the basically every character. As I said, I pay for every character from this set and the last set, including all of the specials and everything. So I've got the Donation, the Rising Sun, the Gold Standard, EDM, the Big Shot, and then I've got all the ones from this one as well, like Razzle Dazzle and such. Now, a lot of people were saying that in the boxes they got, unfortunately, there was some damage to the cards. I can happily say that that didn't happen to me. I can see how it happened. One of the little tabs, I don't know if you can see it, just inside here, at the back there, that came undone on some of the boxes. It's a little thing. It probably just did it in the shipping, in all fairness, just in the transporting. But as you can see, the box is absolutely full of packing peanuts, so everything was very well transported anyway. Let me just get this out, bear with me. Right, so yes, so every box contains obviously a copy of the rules, so we can learn how to play, which is very good. Also these fantastic dice, which are the grapple dice, I believe. They each have different symbols on them, which match up to symbols on the character sheets, which I will show you just now. So the one I've just opened is Paulie the Pigeon Picone versus the dead man known as Rob Graves. So there's Paulie the Pigeon Picone in all of his glory. You can see that's what the symbols match up to: power, technique, agility, strike, submission and grapple. This is basically how you determine turn order and how you kick out of things like finishes and such. The game seems quite simple to play. You've got cards which are lead cards, which are things like this punch here. You also notice the stop symbol, because that can actually stop other person's grapples and such. So you've got things like grapple, strikes, and finishes. I'm sorry for it going on my phone, it's a bit blurry. So yeah, so you see that's a lead of a strike and that's a lead of a grapple. But these are also used as stop cards. Anything with a stop card on it can be used in your opponent's turn to stop the moves that it mentions on the cards there. So essentially what you have 3 types of card. You have a lead card, a follow-up card and a finisher card. So for instance with Paulie, you have lead of the punch there, and then let me just see if I can find a follow-up. Yep, you got another follow-up there of a strike, which is his gut punch, which also has an additional thing on it. If you see, if your opponent has 2 other grapples in play, stop any other grapples next turn. So you can play 1 card per turn, and you would play them in that kind of order basically. So you'd have lead, follow-up, and then finisher. You can only play a finisher if you have a follow-up on the table, and you can only play a follow-up if you have a lead on the table. So it's kind of basically, let me just find out one of his finishers. There you go, that's one of his finishers. His finisher, the Dead Man's Hand, +1 to agility, +1 to power. If you hit a card with a punch in the name last turns, card cannot be stopped. So essentially, you would roll for your turn using his using the stats as I mentioned on the card, which I've currently misplaced. Oh, well, there's somewhere. Whoever has the high stat essentially wins. Whoever has the high stat essentially wins the roll for that turn. So, for instance, where have you gone? Oh, he's around anyway. So yeah, so let's say you roll you both roll against each other on the stat-wise. Where are you? Okay, I'm also completely messing up these decks, so that's not very good. But yes, basically, you roll for that, and then if you roll higher than your opponent on their stats, so for instance, here's the Rob Graves card. So, you roll a dice. Zoom in, come on, focus. There you go. Right, so you roll a dice, and if you rolled, say, the purple symbol for submission, pink symbol for submission, sorry, you would get a 7. If your opponent had rolled, say, something else, which was higher than that, he would get the turn. So each turn can be completely random. You basically, as I said, you basically work by the turn sequence being random. So one person could get a lot of turns very quickly, and if they do have the cards in their hand, bearing in mind the decks are shuffled, but if they do have the cards in their hand, they could go lead, follow up, finisher, off you go. Now for finisher itself, when someone lands a finisher, you basically have to roll to kick out. So the opponent rolls again one of these dice and matches it up to the number on the character card, and that's the number the opponent that you would then have to roll to beat out of the opponent's finisher. So for instance, if you Rob Graves did one of his finishers and he rolled technique, which you see is the orange one on there, that'd be a 5, so you just have to have a 5 to beat it. When you do break out, your crowd meter goes up, and each time that does, something more and more impressive happens until all finish rolls are at +5, which is obviously means that you can't break out of that, but it can go like that essentially. So you just basically keep going until someone either gets a submission or a pinfall on it. Now, as I said, I was very, very excited about this. I really enjoyed the idea of it, being a long time wrestling fan anyway, and as I said, I was incredibly interested in it, and the pricing wasn't too bad, to be honest with you. I mean, it was $110 for everything from this set and the last set, so everything you see in there and in the box and all these cards, plus the $50 shipping. I was afraid it was going to get stung by customs. Luckily it didn't, which is always very good. Bear with me, I'm just opening up this packet just to see what's in it. I do believe these might be the finishers for the extra characters. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. The actual packaging is a bit hard to get open. Hold on, there we go. Do this off camera, which is probably not that exciting for you, but I do apologise. So yeah, these are yes, these are finishes for the special characters that have come as part of this set. So you've got Razzle Dazzle's Figure Skate, you've got the Final Verdict for Dan the Devil's Advocate Williams, you've also got Standard Camel Clutch. Oh, this onto here, you might be able to see them. See. Standard Camel Clutch, the Filibuster, Split Decision, also Dan the Devil's Advocate Williams. If any of these are for special characters, I'm not too sure of them, please, you know, let me know. There's the Bedazzler, also Razzle Dazzle, Shoot the Duck, Razzle Dazzle, Hung Jury, very cool Tree of Woe. That's another thing about these, actually. The moves are, obviously because the guys who make the game are very big fans of wrestling and such, the moves are essentially wrestling moves themselves, which is fantastic. You might notice, obviously, a few references to certain WWE wrestlers. That's just one of those things, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, you've got The Last Rites, which is a standing elbow drop. You have 6 Feet Under, which looks like it's going to be a reverse DDT or Brainbuster, perhaps. You have the Nail in the Coffin. Very, very cool looking submission. I'm not too sure. Could be a Dragon Sleeper. I'm not too up on various rules. That's where the Paulie Picone card went. There you go. That's what I was looking for. So, there's an example for the turn order. On these dice out. So basically, Paulie Picone wants to start his turn. So here it is, we see so. So I'm going to roll a dice. Like that. We'll roll a blue, which is grapple. His grapple is 5. The opponent would roll green, which is agility 6. These Rob Graves will actually get the first turn on that one. And as I said, with finishers on that front. So we'll say that Paulie Picone gets off his finishing strike, which is the dead man's hand, he would roll the dice. We're getting, again, grapple of 5 on that, but also he wouldn't get any bonus on that because he didn't get agility or power, sadly. Rob Graves goes to roll for it, gets the technique of 5, which is the same, which I do believe causes him to... Oh, he actually has 3 tries to beat that roll, so he will try again at that point. Let's see. Of course, 3 count, makes sense. Roll for agility, which is 6. He would stop the dead man's hand, which I guess is just appropriate. Yes, that's really all I can talk about to do with this. I mean, I've not undone these cards yet. As you can see, they're all nicely still wrapped up. That one just appears to be the donation on its own. Gold standard. Really, I say this should have every single character from the last set as well. But yes, I mean, I don't think it's gone too badly for a first unboxing video. But yeah, as I said, very, very excited about this. I'm really looking forward to playing it. Hopefully it gets played soon. Thanks very much for watching.